all right. Good evening, everyone. Come on in here because we have some stuff to talk about tonight. Let me turn my video on, ladies. What is going on? What is going on? I see the peoples. I'm going to stop being silly. Maybe not, though, right? This is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesdays. Come on in here, ladies. Come on and turn on those. Listen, we talking love and money tonight, so y'all better turn them cameras on. I mean, now, let me just ask y'all for a minute. How many of you want to know how to be a wanted woman? If you want to be a wanted woman, put wanted in the best way in the chat. Because you're in the right place. If you want to be a wanted, that's right, Tamiko. Tell them, girl. Karen, that's right. Wanted woman, then. Man, I'm excited about the conversation we're going to have tonight. You're going to absolutely adore our guest. How many of you were at if you were at the event, who was at Legacy Wealth Live? You were at Legacy Wealth Blueprint Live, put me. Because I just got to tell y'all, if you were at Legacy Wealth Blueprint Live, put me in the chat. That's right. Tamika was there. Leslie was there. Me. That's right. Well, y'all know Star, right? Y'all know Star, our MC? Well, I just want to let you see how the network works. Star works with Coach Cass's husband, Andy Henriquez. He is an amazing master storyteller, speaking coach. And I met them through our mastermind. And then Terry joined. I just see, I be telling y'all about your network is your net worth, right? If you understand. And so really that's what gives us the opportunity to bring some of our amazing experts to you. Now, this is WealthyU, where we teach first generation wealth building women how to build wealth. And can I be honest with y'all? You know, when I'm coaching you and when we're going over your goals, I'll be like, you know, missing oftentimes is relationship. And as someone who's been married for 36 years now, woohoo, what I want to say is how grateful I am for that relationship. And Coach Cash is also married to an amazing woman, an amazing man too. And I can't wait for her to share that with you guys as well. But come on in here, guys. Let me see who's in the room. Let's do some shout outs. So where are you from? So in the chat, introduce yourself so I can give you a shout out before we get into Wealthy You Wind Down. Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday is where we unwind, right? We talk about our wins because in Wealthy You, all we do is win, win, win. In fact, y'all, I was on a call today. And one of the things we talk about in WealthyU is personal rate of return. And let me tell you, this woman's personal rate of return was 40%, and she just started in June of last year. Now, let me just put a disclaimer on that. That may not happen for everybody, but what I will say is for the women in WealthyU who lean in, that's where the magic happens. So, okay, let me give some shout outs. Leslie Hamilton. Marilyn, hey, Leslie was at Legacy Wealth Blueprint Live. Let's see, is that Kate Widener, Greensboro, North Carolina? Awesome. Come on, let me get some more shout outs in the chat. Charleston, Houston. Okay, so we got Charleston, excellent. Karen from Charleston, South Carolina, lovely place. All these nice places, man. Yeah, where are you tuning in? Ashley, girl, where are you? That's what I want to know. You in Atlanta? You in Maryland? I keep getting all these cryptic. She know I ain't lying. But excellent, Stephanie Rousseau from Ohio, who makes the delicious cakes. Y'all just need to know about it. Maybe I don't need to know about it. Y'all need to know about it. I don't need to know about it because I know this woman. Y'all remember the pound cakes that your auntie used to make? Like for me, it was my auntie Maggie. She could, honey, I'm telling the kind of pound cakes where they're so dense. You know what I'm saying? You could use them for a weapon if they put in the freezer. Okay, I digress. But lovely, always a pleasure to uplift the members in WealthyU and the amazing things that they're doing. So welcome to WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. Hey, I always start by giving you a toast and letting you know. Now, I just got to spill the tea on this wine. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It is, I know it's California. I'm not sure if it's from Napa. It could be Sonoma. But this is Decoy. Now, this is not an expensive wine at all. But what I do want to tell you is they have two levels. Say they levels to this, right? They're levels to that. Y'all know in the chat, put levels because you know we always go next level, right? But this level is this is their reserve, and it has a green label on it. You know, there's a lot of Decoy and it has like just a little, I think it's like a duck on it. But this is the reserve, and it is so, so good. So toast to all of you. Any other wine drinkers in the house? You can have an adult beverage. You could have water, whatever. Okay. I see you, Stephanie. You have tea, but you know me. It's been one of those weeks. I need to swallow down the whole glass after this week. Just kidding, just kidding. So, what we talking about tonight, ladies? What are we talking about tonight? Listen, I just want you guys to know a couple of things. The one thing so how many of you wanted to attend Legacy Wealth Blueprint Live? You weren't able to attend. If that were you, if you were unable to attend, in the chat, put me. If you were unable to attend, put me, because I want to see who's on who didn't attend. Okay, so Kate did not attend. Anybody else not attend? Karen didn't attend. So did you look at the pictures in the community and just say, oh, I wish I was there. I wish I. Yeah, Helen, you know Ashley was looking for you. Where Ashley at? Ashley was looking for you. But at any rate, okay, so you didn't attend. Well, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? The replay is available. Okay? The replay is available, and I'm going to tell you, when I watched it, because you know, like when you're in the middle of stuff, it's like, you know, you don't quite get it. You're in it, and so you're not feeling it. But listen, the replay is available. And so I'm going to do this now. I'm just going to tell you, don't be asking stuff. So if you go to Legacy Wealth, so in the chat, Anita, if you could put that in the chat. But there's more. Guess what? So I am so excited about this, that if you use the promo code WINNER, you're going to get $100 off. So it's only going to cost you $97. So for those of you who went and you want to relive that, you want to take advantage of that. So the link is in the chat. You can use promo code WINNER and you'll get $100 off. But before we do that, let me just make sure that that is the promo code. I know it is. I made the code, but I want to make sure you guys get in to what we're up to. I got to tell you, it was overwhelming. You know, we had not had an event since COVID. And this was our first event. And I don't know about you guys, but man, it was just Star, our MC, was amazing. So that's right, it's winner, all lowercase, and you get $100 off. So just so you know, the women on the stage, the women came walk right out of the book from how many of you enjoyed Belinda and Dia Wynn? And then our keynote was Eris Scale. She's so funny. I don't know if you guys saw the promo in the waiting room, but she was amazing. SV, Senior Vice President for Social Responsibility for the National Association of Real Estate Investment Trusts. I'm just telling you, you will be blessed. That's right. Portia says 100, 100. Portia did the virtual. And of course, for all of you that did the virtual, you did get the replay. You should have gotten an email. All right. So I just wanted to tell y'all that off the top. Don't sleep on that. I'm going to leave that promo up for 24 hours. So if you want to take advantage of it, you're going to be blessed. I tell you, like, I never know what the women are going to say in WealthyU about their transformation. And man, some of them have went on to just do some amazing things. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, who wants to talk love and money tonight? If you want to talk love and money, put love and money in the chat, right? Well, it's wonderful when when you can have somebody show you the way. I mean, how many of you have tried the dating apps, this that, this that? That's right, love and money, love and money. And you've been kind of struggling. What do you do in this age of social media and online dating and all of that? Well, I am really, really excited tonight to have Dr. Cassandra Enriquez, fondly known as Coach Cass, America's go-to love coach, honey. We in the right place tonight. She's an intuitive love coach and certified matchmaker for successful women. She has set stages aflame as an in-demand speaker and as a TEDx presenter. She is on a mission to help busy women attract the type of love that fills their hearts with happiness and joy. She believes you can attract, choose, and keep love in your life with the right guidance. So when love eludes you, there's only one woman who can help you capture it, and it is Coach Cass. And with that, I'd like to welcome Coach Cass to WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. Hey, 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 sis. What's going on?
Oh, I am absolutely excited. What's up, WealthyU? Yes. Hello, Deborah. Yes. I dropped in the chat. What's the status? I'm nosy, right? So I said, are you single, in a relationship, or married in the chat, so we know who we're talking to. So we got
I love that.
singles.
I love that.
We have some marrieds. We have something in between.
You know.
I'm excited to be here, sis. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited too. The other thing is, wait a minute, you know what? I did not give you the proper introduction, because the other thing I want folks to know that I did not mention in your bio is that you have a fabulous book, Wanted Woman. Don't she look all cute? Every time I see her, she be in her little pink, and then they'll let her husband be around. Then they be like the two cute couple. But anyhow, she's also the author of Wanted Woman. So you need to go to Amazon and let me just get that camera right. And so that you can learn all that you need to know about this amazing woman. Now, Coach, I got to start out by asking you, honey, you got an amazing husband. I need to know why are you out here in these streets
Mm, in the street.
trying to help other women
Mhm.
find the love that is eluding them? So give us a little backstory, all right?
Okay. All right. Y'all ready for story time? Drop story time in the chat. Here we go. So once upon a time, I was dating a guy that I thought was the one. So whether you're single or married or anything in between, have you ever thought somebody was the one before? Drop a yes. So for me, we were talking about a future and a hope, sis. We did business together. We traveled together. I went on his company trips. I just knew that this was the one for me. And one Christmas Eve, I got a call from a mutual friend. Bring. Hello? He's like, hey, are you sitting? I'm like, Merry Christmas. Yeah, that's not why I'm calling. He's married. Who? The man
Who
that I thought, the man that I thought I was going to marry was already married. Ooh,
What?
damn. Yes, girl. Mm, my
Now,
heart.
wait a minute now. Come on
Pause.
now.
You
Come
want to
on.
pause?
You traveling on trips and
Trips,
doing
the
all
company
the
trips,
things.
all the things, all the things. And my heart shattered into a million pieces. Anybody here ever got a phone call that they weren't expecting, whether it was regarding your faith, your finances, your family, or your future? I was flabbergasted. I was in a really dark place. Um, I walked away from that relationship, good Christian woman that I am, right? Just walked away from that. But how many of us know that it doesn't always leave you, right? The guilt, the shame, how could I be so stupid? All of those horrible thoughts. And I carried that into the next relationship, the next relationship. This relationship stuff was not working. And so my defining moment, Deborah, was when I got maybe my 29th wedding invitation. You ever felt like everybody was getting married? Drop a yes in the chat. It's just like, wait a second. Like Toothless Willie down the block is getting, like, how is it like he ain't even cute like me, right? Like, what is that?
Everybody.
Everybody, Lottie Dottie and everybody. So I was in this space that I said, you know what, I got to do something different. So that's when I drew a line in the sand, but I drew it behind me. And I said, I have to do something different in order to get a different result. So I started to go to marriage conferences as a single woman. Just people like, those
What
cutouts
was
of the face,
what
with
was
the
that like though?
very strange. I even have a picture where it was like the bride and the groom, and everybody's like, where's the groom at, Cass? I'm like, he's coming. Don't worry about that. He's coming. I interviewed married women who were married for over 25 years, but actually still liked their spouse, right? Because how many of us know married folk and it's like, y'all ain't selling this at all. I interviewed successful women who were successful in business and in love because a part of me felt like you couldn't have the both of them at the same time. Anybody ever felt like that? Drop a me in the chat. So for me, it was a reimagining, a rewiring, and a rewriting of my love story. And of course, I got coaching, I got therapy, I went on my own personal journey, which then helped me to attract my amazing husband that is more than any answered prayer I could ever have, any prayer I could ever have. And literally, when I started to look around at the landscape of professional women, I realized that they were mainly in one of two places, right, Deborah? So on one side, she's working, right? She's the glue in her family. She's the person they always calling on to borrow some money or otherwise, right? She's single, so she got the time, right? And love is constantly put on the back burner. Anybody here ever feel like that? Drop a me in the chat. Or she's that person in her back closet praying, where is my Boaz, my high value man, this knight in shining armor? But sis don't leave the house. Sis is working.
Oh,
Computer.
say
Sis,
that.
this
Say
is
that
hidden.
again.
sis, sis ain't going nowhere. Sis don't look up. Sis would rather die than talk to strangers or men, and the thing is that she will, right? If she don't get it together. So literally, I have created a third path in which I support women in their love journey. So what I find is that so often we're focused on get the guy, microwave, what is the code? But here's the thing, that even if you put something in microwave like popcorn, but if you take it out before it's ready, it's half done. And that's not nice. Who wants to bite into kernels? You want some good popcorn. It's like you want a great relationship. So literally, I help women not half bake their relationships. We focus on self-love, we focus on choosing love because ain't nobody really teach us how to choose the right person. I- Relationship stuff out here really talks about, oh, well, the woman needs to cook and she needs to clean. You know, like that's like the extent of what people are talking about here. It's like, okay, and then what? And then
Well,
on the
yeah, but
other
you
side,
know what? So I want to
right.
stop you there because I don't know if you guys saw the video that I posted in the Wealthy You community, but it's this thing called trad wife or trade wife or something where these people, these women, young women are talking about how you have to be with your husband, you have to dress a certain way, you have to do certain things. And then these more seasoned women weighed in talking about their own experiences and how, after 20 years of marriage, they're finding themselves, they took care of the kids and now they're on their own. My own mother's story is how I got on this path, married for 33 years and then separated, right? And so they found themselves in this way. So, what's that about? Is that like a way that women think they can attract their love match by acting a certain way and being a certain way that they feel will attract men?
That's definitely a thing, right? Deborah, when we just look at every single movie there is, my father is, so we're moving tomorrow. Hallelujah. Y'all pray for me. So we are moving tomorrow. And my dad was just doing some handyman stuff around my house today. And he's in the kitchen and he's like, you know what, Cass? You need to go to a cooking class, because the way to a man's stomach, heart is through his stomach. Now, mind you, I'm coming up on 10 years, y'all. Okay. So it's just like if the man was going to leave me because his stomach wasn't full, he would have left. So for me, it's this old school mentality of, a woman has to do a certain thing. Now, mind you, I think every man appreciates a good meal, right? I think every man appreciates his clothes put away and folded, but I also think that a woman does too. So for me, it's every relationship, you lean on what your strengths are and it's a partnership with
Amen.
a husband still at the head. I am that traditional, right? So that's my traditional. It's like I still turn to my husband for the heavy duty decisions because I don't feel like it, right? And sometimes for my single ladies, you're like, well, I could do bad all by myself. Yeah, but there's something beautiful about be like, you know what, you got this, babe. Good luck with that. I'm gonna pray for you, right? So so in terms of
So,
traditional, I think it really depends on the household and then also what brings you both joy. There's some women that enjoy cooking every single day, and there are some that do not.
yeah, we all have our gifts and talents.
Mhm.
Uh, Coach Cass, I guess the question I have for you though is for in your story, you found
Mm.
that mate
Yeah.
and from a broken place.
Yes.
And I'm sure, and if you guys would like to know this, and by the way, feel free to put some questions for Coach Cash in the chat. And I'm curious as to what were the things that you had to do to attract that perfect mate? What had to change? You attracted someone that led to disappointment and heartbreak.
Yeah.
How did you make that shift?
Yeah. So, there's so much, right? So I'll pull out one piece. I remember when Andy and I went to cousin's barbecue, his cousin's game night, right? So we're there playing games, his phone rings and he steps outside and he's still outside. And 20 minutes pass and he's still outside. I'm like, oh, here we go again, right? So remember where I'm coming from, right? All my stuff, all my trauma. I know this man is not, right? But I think I've put myself together and I walk outside to check on him. So I go outside and he's sitting in his car on the phone and I stand in front of the car and he winds down the window and he goes, Cass, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And then he winds the window back up. I pick my face up and I walk back inside and I say, you know what? I am no longer going to hold someone else's transgressions against this man that's standing in front of me. And that for me was one of the biggest shifts because so often we carry our bags, our baggage. Some of us got cute bags, Louis Vuitton, all the other things, So we're like, it's okay to bring your bags, but it's not okay because when you start to unpack that into your relationship, it doesn't have any place there. So for me, we started at a really good place because I was able to consistently self-correct because of the coaching, the therapy, the classes, the interviews, the conferences that I had been to, right? And then also because I was vulnerable, some of y'all think vulnerability is a whole cuss word, right? I was vulnerable enough to share with him what I had been through, that he, as a man, was also decided to be transparent. So if he was out somewhere, he would call me, show me all the things, of where he was. He'd tell me what's up, what's going on for the day, because he understood that he was dealing with a heart that was a little fragile because I had been hurt before. So I
I
think it's
love
a
that.
two-way street. Yeah.
I love that. Well, you said two things there that I think is very important. A couple of things was I hear a lot of men saying that women are too masculine, women are too masculine, women are too masculine. And the other side of it, I thought was I'm very intrigued by is you sharing that you vulnerability to some people is a cuss word. And so I would love for you to kind of double click on that as it relates to women attracting their mate.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you choose to keep the wall up, right, ladies, just think about it. At some point, it served you thus far, which is why you continue to do it. For instance, I was talking to one of my clients today, and I'm very proud of her. She came in an 8-year relationship that was no good, right? But I let grown
Mm.
women do what grown women gonna do. I said my piece of, I don't think this is it. Took her a whole year to finally let go of this man. And now she's in the most peaceful place. She's 50, right? So most peaceful place of her life. And she went on a date this past weekend. And the man hugged her. She put her hand out for a handshake. He hugged her and he gave her a kiss on the cheek. So she already felt violated. And what she
Mm.
realized is during the date, this man only talked about himself. And at the end of the day, she was like, this man really doesn't know anything about me. And so she goes home and she calls a girlfriend. Girlfriend says, oh, you're overreacting. Fast forward, some other things happen. It doesn't sit right. She says, you know what? Be well, sir. No, thank you. And I had to commend her because of the self-trust. Here's what I find is that many of us don't trust ourselves in our own judgment. So we are consistently and constantly calling up girlfriends to see what they think to invalidate,
Woo!
right? And it like for this, it was a huge leap because she stayed in this relationship for so long. I said, listen, your intuition, your gut instinct has always been in place. She's been talking, but the thing is, because you didn't want to listen to her, you closed the door. But she was over here like, hello, this whole time. And so oftentimes, because we've been through some things, we've been conditioned not to trust ourselves. So for me, that is one of the first places to start is how do we rebuild that trust in ourselves? Because there is no way that you can trust somebody else and be vulnerable with that other person if you don't start to deal with your own stuff. Does that make sense?
That's good. That's good, Coach Cash, because I can just imagine
Mhm.
I think the one of the most difficult situations to be in is if you're in a relationship with someone who you find yourself in a relationship with someone who was married, right? So, coming back from that, I really applaud you. And I guess the question I have for you is that is something that we see quite often in relationships, not even married, but just not being uh uh truthful and about or dating other people and thinking you're in a monogamous relationship. What advice would you give to someone who is carrying that and
Mhm.
knows that it could be uh impacting their ability to find that person because they do still have the wall up?
Yeah. So it takes some work, right? And the first step is acknowledgement. Sometimes, here's the thing. So I study somatics, and somatics is just understanding what's going on in your body. And if everybody just took a moment to take a deep breath in, right? Just take a couple deep breaths in, right? And as you breathe, I just want you to see what's going on in your body. And as you start to become aware, you might say, oh, wow, I really have some tension over here. Oh, wow. My back is really hurting. Oh, wow. Just talking about love has my heart hurting and sadness. The thing is that because we don't spend time becoming aware of what's going on in our body will always tell us what's up, but we're not listening. We've learned to mask
Mm.
it. We've learned to take medication. We've learned to drink alcohol. We've learned to, watch a motivational tape. But at the end of the day, we have to start with our bodies because this is the way you're able to anchor in and get those cues to say, okay, I felt a trigger. This is not okay with me. Now, because it's not okay, what am I going to do about it? And what happens is we have to look at our conditioning, right? I was talking to I had a lot of client calls today. So I was talking to another client today. And so I want to say she's about 62, right? And she's dating this guy. She sees him like once a month because he works hard. He works for the sheriff's department. He does overtime. And I said, sis, you coming up on retirement. Now, what life are you seeking to live if a man doesn't have time to even date you? And then I had to ask
Mm.
her, how many situations have you been in where you stayed longer than you should have, or you had to wait until you were fed up to leave? She was like, well, sis, like that's my job, that's my church, that's my relationships, that's my, what I mean? Like, like just sitting in my stuff. And so many times we've been conditioned because you're seen and not heard. It's like all of this post-traumatic syndrome from our parents, from our grandparents. Like there's studies done on rats, right? And it's like you condition the rat to go in the cup, and then the rat has a baby, and all of a sudden the baby's getting the cup. We didn't teach the baby. When did his baby get in the cup? The baby's baby's getting in the cup. It's like, wait a second. Now, how did that transfer? So there's some stuff that lives within us that we have to start to deep dive and understand, like, now where did that come from? Now, who said that? Who said that I could not speak up? And it's a process. It's not a simple answer, Deborah. It's not a simple answer.
The other question I had for you that really fascinates me is that you go through this heartbreak and then you start attending these marriage conferences as a single woman, and I'm curious about what was the impetus for that? What, where did the idea come from, and why did you feel like it was something that you needed to do?
So here's the thing. One of the things, so we took our last walk outside my current home today. And I was telling my husband that I'm grateful for my latest certifications. I'm always enhancing. And he was like, you know what? What I like about you is that you're a lifelong learner. Here's the thing. If I'm not good at something, I'm not going to sit and twiddle my thumbs and watch reality TV and grab a couple memes for my answers, right? What I realize is that who I choose as my spouse, as my husband, is one of the most important decisions outside of following God for me, in terms of my life. And it impacts every single thing that I do. So if I'm looking around and what we got over here is not helping me be in a happy, fulfilling, loving relationship that God has for me, I'm going to have to seek it somewhere. Right. So for me, I believe in investing in my lack. I believe in enhancing where I'm at. I believe in continuing to grow. I have a growth mindset. That's just what it is.
It is, and it's so interesting that you say that,
Mm.
Coach Cass. And by the way, hey, we're looking in the chat. I want to open this up for questions. You can, I mean, Coach, are you comfortable taking questions
Any of them.
on
Any of
camera
them.
or whatever? Okay, perfect. So I want to. Okay, looks like Jamila raised her hand. The the final question that I have for you is really, what did you learn? What did you learn? What were you, well, not what did you learn? by attending those conferences, what surprised you that you hadn't uh
It was all
prepared yourself for?
it was all a surprise, right? Like who sits down and teaches you how to act right in a relationship? Like your mama doesn't sit down and say, "All right now, baby, you know, this is how you relate to your husband. This is how you settle arguments. This is how you know, it's just not that. I feel like a lot of my upbringing, I was raised by independent women. I do have a father, but it's just like my mother was very independent, right? They divorced at an early age. All my aunts were independent. Everybody was divorced. So when I look at the lessons that I was learning vicariously through them and what they were telling me, there wasn't no real lessons. The one I remember I was about 15, my mom found out I had a boyfriend. She was like, "Get rid of him. I don't need you pregnant." That that was my relationship lesson. Then in college, she was like, "Have friends. Keep it at that." And then when I was with Andy, she was like, "You know what? You're hanging around this man too long. He hasn't proposed yet. Get somebody else." Right? So if I sat there and listened to my mama, I'd be single still, right? And hallelujah. So what I realized is that
Jesus.
this
Oh,
this
woo.
information that I was getting, you know, they mean the best, but they real single and real bitter is what I was surrounded by. And then my dad essentially has been married for many years, but then like my stepmom would tell me every man cheats. You know what? I can't take nothing from y'all either. Just never mind. I got to go get me a new group. And that's like this, right? With Wealthy You, it's like you learn your financials and your financial education, your money mindset from the wrong set of folks. So you got to get in the right atmosphere. And
It is true. And
yeah.
so much of the right behaviors
Mhm.
is inherited knowledge. Like you need to be with like-minded people who demonstrate what you want, right? So I could see you attending these conferences because you were seeking out, okay, if I'm going to have something, then I want to have something. I want to know what I need to do to get it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Awesome. Well, we're going to go to some
learn from
questions
people that
again.
know. Mhm.
If you have a question, raise your hand. And we're going to go to Jamila.
That's Jamila.
Good
Hey.
evening. This is excellent. I'm gonna just say up front, I might be in the wrong place, so let me ask this up front. Do you work with people who for whom monogamy is not necessarily the standard?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. That's
It's hard
interesting.
enough for me to please one man. Hallelujah. Never been a go get
Respectfully, though, I'm a shut up. Thank you.
All right.
No, that's, I mean, like different points of view, but I coach like you, like I'm not wealthy, you is not for everybody.
Right.
Like I want to make sure, and I think this is not, Jamila, I hope you don't think it's judgment or anything, but I really feel like uh if I can't give people the outcomes that they want, that I am not aligned right into with my calling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So no, I do appreciate your that candor.
Yeah. And
So
I
we
can
have
refer you to someone that, coaches around polyamory and thruples and all the
and all
very
that.
as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go to Annette Foster. Annette, please unmute.
Hi, Annette. You
Annette, you need to unmute.
oh,
Uh-oh.
it's not working. Maybe the team can
Let
hit.
me ask you to unmute and let's see what happens.
Okay,
There you go. Okay,
there we
awesome.
go. Yeah, it was not even coming up. So the
Okay,
devil is a liar, daggone, and I'm going to get my question in.
that's
Um,
it.
Hallelujah for that. First, thank you for being here. Deborah, thank you for such a timely topic. It's timely for me because I've spent the last 4 years taking care of a mom who was dying slowly in hospice. She
Oh
is
my.
now past 99 and a half. She had a remarkable life, but it took everything out of me. And I just chose not to date and just focus on that emotionally, financially. It was a lot as an only child. Okay, that was then, this is now. What would your suggestions be? And I work a lot. I'm a corporate sales rep. Um, and it's playing catch up for all that missing in action time that I've had. Um, and I'm a type A personality, so all those things working against me. What are your suggestions for a woman getting started saying, you know what, I want to date, I want a good mate. However, I understand it's a process, and I'm a sales rep, so I'm analytical. It's a numbers game. You got to put a lot in the top to get a little out of the bottom. What would be your kind of quick 1, 2, 3? I don't know that that's a quick answer of even getting started. I find I come home, I work, I come home. Money is good, but at the end of the day, money doesn't mend a broken heart and it can't hug you.
Right.
So I'm in a different place about my priorities. And
Mhm.
just what suggestions could you offer somebody like me, please?
Okay, so I work with somebody like you all day, every day. Okay, so here's the thing. You just said what your schedule was. For instance, I just was talking to a very busy professional today, and she said, Coach Cass, maybe on Sunday I could like get on an app or something. I said, well, sis, do you get on any social media? And she said, well, yes. I said, do you do it daily? Yeah, in my bed for about an hour or more at night. I said, okay, well, could you spend 20 minutes maybe on an app or on something like that? She said, well, yes. Right. So, in terms of finding the time, I really feel one is like you have to find the time for love. And if you're like, well, Coach Cass, I can't be on the app, they might see me. Understand that they are also on the app. Hmm? Right. So, one is to put it in your schedule. And then two, it's actually to go outside of normal business things, right? So what are Annette's hobbies? Don't have any? Find one, right? Start to look at the types of events that just bring you joy and just be curious about meeting people. I don't want you to put pressure on yourself about, well, I'm going to put on this lipstick and I'm going to find my husband today, because then you end up in this depressive state very quickly or this roller coaster that's not conducive. And then three, I would definitely say is, get somebody to support you in the journey because today you're motivated, tomorrow you're like, well, forget this, right? I'm gonna just make my money, get my massages, and travel the world, So it really is a yo-yo situation. So being in the right community around love, I'm in several communities that support me in several areas of my life. I really think that it's important to get around folks who are of the same mindset as you in terms of, you know what? Love is important and it is something that I want, and there is nothing wrong with me. So how do I get supported through that? So those are my three.
Those are good. Coach Cass, what you didn't mention was your community.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that would be a great starting place for many women who are, uh, I'm not going to say struggling, but I'm going to say desire
Desire.
to find a mate and have to, like you said, nobody ever sat us down and said how you find a mate. Now, Coach Cash, you're gonna think I'm crazy. So please let them know how they can contact you. If you can put that. Okay, so the community, an
Yeah.
application is in the chat, guys.
Yeah.
Because I do have a question for you. I
Uh-oh.
am fascinated, fascinated with arranged marriages,
Mm.
right? So like Indian matchmaker,
I
they
love Indian
switch
matchmaking.
matchmaker. So
Mhm.
you are a matchmaker. So girl, tell us what that is about. Like,
So I am a certified matchmaker. I have
okay.
retired from matchmaking, and the reason is because I believe you could be your own matchmaker. Right. And the reason I
Oh,
say that is because sometimes, as professional women, like let's take Annette, right? And that's like, yeah, let me just throw some money at this and you bring me the men, bring them out, right? And then she's like, well, this one is a too chubby. This one, his FICO score is not together. This one has too many baby mamas, and we're done. You know, and then what ends up happening is Annette doesn't feel fulfilled, right? She spent 30K and she's just like, well, here I am at square one. So what I find is that with matchmaking, on the matchmaking side, it's a really hard job to find this unicorn of Idris Elba, Hugh Jackman, and whoever else you really like, and put them all in a bucket to then present. And then on the other side, as the client, you're like, well, I'm paying for this, so I need the upper echelon of nothing that I would find at the grocery store. I need something better than that, right? So it's a tough situation. Arranged marriages in terms of the Indian Matchmaker, I like that show. I think they are more bought in. So I see many of the women here are of African American descent. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody, but essentially what I find with our culture is that we can be very segmented and not as trusting. But in the Indian culture, it's like they work together because they understand that building a life together is essential. And for us, the whole building a life together is optional. You know, I could do this all by myself. I could become a mom by myself. I could run a business by myself. I could do everything by myself. So
Well, I do,
coming
you know,
together.
so let's talk about that for the
Yeah.
moment, because when we look at the stats, we know that 65% of African American households are headed by single African American women,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And we know that 9 out of 10 marriages, whether you're black, white, or green, are going to end in divorce. You will either never marry, you will either separate or divorce. And so with those kind of odds, Coach Cass, the cultural aspect of it is, as I see it in many cases, a defense mechanism, right? We've seen our aunties, we've seen our mothers, we've seen our sisters, we've seen so many things
Yeah.
in terms of relationships not work. And ultimately, getting to the finance side of it, women finding themselves in their 40s or so and having raised children, right? 40s and 50s, and now they're on their own. There's this whole gray divorce trend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is it culture, or is it more a function of the society that Black women find themselves in?
So I love what you're saying because I am on a mission to help decrease the divorce rate, and it has dropped a little bit. The recent reports have showed. So for me, we just weren't taught how to choose. So the reasons in which, even the ones on here that have been married so and so years, right? If you look back, for some, they married out of convenience. They married to get out of their community. They married because they were pregnant. They were married because of religion, and they slept together. They married, like there's different reasons why people in this world get married. And for me, we weren't taught how to vet properly and how to really see who's aligned with who we are. And this is how this whole we grew apart stuff goes, because one person's growing, the other person has their hands in the pants watching television. So it's really, I think the biggest problem is I don't know how to choose who's right for me. And I kind of have a middle school mentality is what I call it. That time when you have the sheet of paper and somebody would, do you like me? Yes, no, maybe so. And if they said yes or maybe, y'all getting married, like just never mind. Yeah. And we weren't taught how to date either. So we have a serious problem of being serial monogamous. The first person that comes around that doesn't look too crazy, we're like, well, I could try this. 6 months to a year later, or a marriage later, we're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So we really don't know how to date. We don't know how to choose, and we don't know really how to enjoy this love and dating thing because we're so concerned about what we look like. Because then that's also society. Oh, well, she's a hoe if she's going out with multiple people, right? Like she's sleeping with everybody. It's just like it doesn't have to be that.
Be that way.
All
I
of
would say,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you said something really important, and that is we don't know how to date. We don't know how to be in relationships, and we don't know how to be married.
Yeah.
We're never taught.
We weren't outside of, cook the greens like this. It's like, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. That's a sticking point for me if you can't tell that, right? It's like, oh girl, you gotta keep that man. You gotta cook them greens. I'm like, all right, it's nice, but it's not a
Don't put the stems in there. Make sure you don't. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, we've got 5 minutes, guys. If
5
you've got
minutes.
any questions, raise your hands. Okay, let's see. Tamiko has a question in the chat, and it says, at what point in the relationship should you discuss finances with the person you're dating? That is a great question, Tamiko.
So Andy and I, after a year, we took Financial Peace University together. And I remember him saying, well, part of the class is you show all your financials to your partner. And he was like, I've never done this before. I've never shared my credit score with anyone. I was like, well, me neither. Like this is also a first time for me. Like, you ain't special, like this is a first for the both of us, but it was a really big deal. So that was the deep dive into money mindset and not keeping up with the Joneses and what would make us comfortable to spend, how much money would we need in the bank. But that's when we kind of decided that we're doing this thing for real. Now, in terms of early onset, I've had women come to me talking about guys say, well, I can't take you out today, but after Friday, we can go to the park. Sir, you cannot afford to date right now. It's just not it. So there are writings on the wall if somebody can't afford to date. And I'm not even saying he has to take you to the Ritz or whatever Michelin star restaurant, but it's like, sir, if we can't get the Happy Meal, this is just not gonna work out, right? So I think there's writings on the wall, and you could also say like, well, I have the love deck. I don't have it here, but I have a deck of cards, 60 questions to ask before choosing the one. And I even play it with my husband. It's a great conversation starters and meaningful conversations. And one of them is like, who taught you about money? Like, what was your money stories along those lines? And I think there's something powerful about that. So that's something that you could talk about from the first date. Like, who taught you about money? What did you learn about money? And it's a great deeper conversation than, what's your favorite color, what you watching on TV, that kind of stuff. And I'll drop all 97 of my links in the chat.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, Coach Cass, I just want to thank you for coming on. Let's give her some love, man. I hope you guys got something from this tonight. Listen, you know how we feel about community and WealthyU, and you don't try to go it alone. Uh, Here's all I'm going to say from coaching you guys around your finances and you creating your wealthy vision board. Some of you have just decided that relationships aren't for you. And I don't believe it's because you don't want a relationship. It's just that it's been so difficult. And so to that end, I know the power of community around finances. And I truly believe that being within a community with other like-minded women who can share their experiences with you, you can learn how to love again and how to attract that one and become that wanted woman. I really want to consider those of you who are looking for love to consider Coach Cass's community. Also, pick up her book, Wanted Woman. Fascinating story about her own life and how she found the love of her dreams. And he is an amazing, amazing man, Coach. And finally, any last words that you'd like to say to our WealthyU community?
Here's the thing. Sometimes we really overthink love. And if we were honest with ourselves about what we need and vulnerable enough to share it with those we care about, our lives would be tenfold. And I know many people talk about authenticity, but it's a whole nother level when you could say, you know what, babe, I just need a hug. I just need an ear. I just need a plate of food. You know, like either way, being honest about what you need and then having someone actually care about it is the game changer. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Let's give Coach Cass a round of applause. Remember, her links are in the chat. I want to thank everybody for joining us on WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. For those of you who are in, I want to welcome our newest members who just went through orientation and who just joined WealthyU. Hit the ground running. Make sure that you connect with your ambassadors. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about WealthyU, if we could just put the WealthyU community, our ambassadors are here, Mona Brown, who else? Anita Jenkins as well. You can reach them in the chat, reach out to them. And just know that, love and money, it is possible for you to have both, but it's going to take you leaning in and making it a priority. So that's going to do it for me this evening. Thanks so much, Coach Cass, for joining us, and have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, ladies and gentlemen.